Welcome to this episode of Expat Stories series. I'm Sarah, a financial consultant in Germany, and in this episode, I'm talking with Claudia. She's a German who has experience of being an expat in another country. After she came back to Germany, she decided to unbox Germany for expats here, so we can learn about the differences and decode Germany in a way that you can feel like home. So stay tuned. Hi, Claudia. It's really nice to have you here today. In the Expat Stories, our aim is to help expats in different fields through the experience. But today we are actually talking with you, which you're German, and I think we're going to speak about the integration and all the process which you already experienced as an expat in another country. But before we go into that sector, I would love to know more about you.
Yes, thank you for having me. And I'm very grateful to be able to talk about everything today. I'm Claudia. I call myself a bridge. I'm the bridge between another culture and the German culture. And this came out of a very transforming experience by living in Istanbul with my family for 3.5 years. And about 1 year ago, we came back to Germany, and I finally saw Germany with different eyes because I could see what makes people struggle when they come back or when they move to Germany, because I experienced another culture, which was not easy from the beginning. Of course, I had to learn everything from scratch, which happens to everybody who moves to another culture. But after learning about it and adapting or understanding, and then coming back home, I saw what people are struggling with. And I have to say that I already 15 years ago, I had this, I was working, my profession was, I was working in corporate and pharma. And I was kind of a sales specialist because I worked in different sales departments, locally and also globally. And I did have some expat colleagues. And back then, I helped them with different questions. They started coming to me, asking me about this letter from school, or there was even one colleague I helped her with finding an apartment, temporary apartment, and then even her permanent apartment. And I really enjoyed that. But back then, I didn't feel comfortable starting my own business. You know, in Germany, we prefer to have everything settled and safe, and right. So I had this safe salary, and I felt too young. And so I didn't dare to do the move, and I continued with my career. But after coming back now from this real experience myself, being an expat, having to start everything from scratch, it felt like the right time. So now I decided I want to help people come to Germany to make it home. So, yeah, that's more or less about me, a little bit private, about my private life. I'm a mom, I have 2 daughters, and I also have a dog. And I'm also a grandma because we adopted a cat in Istanbul. But my daughter, she's the mom. So I'm the grandma of our cat Cookie.
Yeah, you're a very young grandma. Yeah.
And I'm even how do you call it, interculturally married. So my husband is not German, he's from Poland. So by that, because of that, we are actually already having more than one culture at home. And then just imagine being in Istanbul, and we were talking in German and in Polish. My husband is talking consistently in Polish to the girls, and then in English, and then in Turkish. So yeah, I really enjoy that.
Amazing. But as someone who lived in Istanbul, because I know that the cultures are very different, what was the biggest culture shock for you?
Let's first go to the culture surprises, because there were a lot of positive things for me, especially in terms of the kids. You know, in Germany, the kids, they have to behave in a restaurant, and they have to sit still, and they have to be quiet, and they should not make noise. And in Istanbul, it was so different. Or in Turkey, let's say, in the whole country, kids are like so special for everyone. I remember when we moved to Istanbul, my little one, she was half a year old. And I always had her in the carrier, you know, like in the how do you call this? Kind of in the carrier. And there were even young Turkish men coming and approaching me and saying "Mashallah," which is like "God bless" or "How wonderful," and a very nice saying. And for me, it felt so weird at the beginning. It's like, what do they want from me? And then someone explained to me, "No, no, no, no. It's just you have a baby. It's such a special thing, and they wish you all the best." And it's like, wow. And also when people take your kids from the restaurant and they take them to the kitchen and they give them some little snacks to eat. Or I remember once when I walked my daughter to the kindergarten because it was very close to our home. And then she was approaching one of the men. In Turkey, they have a lot of valet parking. So when you come to a very fancy restaurant, there are men sitting there and they will park your car for you. And then one of those guys, she went to him because she was eating a simit, those rolls, the round one with the sesame all around.
The bread, yeah, that's amazing.
So good. So she was kind of pointing to it, and he wanted to give her a piece. He was sharing with her. The next day, he had a bag of two simits for her and gave it to her. So really, just the kids are so valuable and so well seen. This was something I enjoyed it for our kids to have this experience of being very special. So that was one thing. And also the resilience. Turkish people, like right now, it's not easy. Life is really not easy. The inflation and several other things that are happening there. And still, even though life is so hard, Turkish people find a reason to still be happy, or they can find this one glimmer that makes them happy. And even though life is so hard, they can they can be they can enjoy life anyway. And then when you look back to Germany, where we Germans tend to complain about anything because everything is always stable, so somehow you need to find something to complain. That was also a very positive surprise that I experienced. When I say shock, I was really shocked about how people are littering in the nature. So when we took walks, which is also not very typical, this walking around, when we took walks into the normal forest, it was full of litter. Like people are throwing away their stuff and they leave it there. We didn't like it. Or the beaches, some of the beaches were very, very dirty, and we were shocked because somehow this is something in Germany we take care, right? Every once in a while you see something, yes, but it's not the average. So that was something. And also the not the traffic, but the rules of the street. Kind of the cars, and not even in another way also, the cars are worth more than a pedestrian, which is the total opposite in Germany, right? If there's a zebra stripes, the car has to stop, right? And you will walk. You should not do that in Istanbul. You have to watch, you have to be sure that there's really nothing coming so you can go. So these were the shocks in that way that I had to learn. Of course, there were others as well. I mean, but let's not go into political things or something. But these are like really cultural things that I discovered. And yeah, they were hard to learn, but I had to accept it. Like there was no way that I would just say, no, I'm used to save zebra stripes, so I will go now. You should not do that.
Yeah, I can imagine. And actually, the driving style is so much different. So you should never put yourself in such a danger. And actually, I think that it's very interesting because when you were mentioning that in Germany we like complain about the little stuff. I was thinking that I, as an expat, even I think I kind of adopted to the situation that I also think to the small things to complain and everything. So, do you think do you think it's like the same that when we go to the different culture, we kind of adapt ourselves and become so we can say similar to the people?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how long you stay there, but Germany is very stable, right? There are not really many ups and downs. So I think, yeah, you adapt. I always remember I have one friend and she's from Lebanon. And we talked about different things and about we were comparing Germany and Lebanon, Beirut. And she was really like, she is so adaptive. Like, change is the constant for her. In Germany, change is horror. Like, no, don't change it. Like, right, everything is so stable. So when everything around you is so stable, you never go out of water, you never go out of electricity. You can drink the water out of the tap. The train is coming, even if it's late, it's coming. Like, there's so many things that are just working. It's kind of boring. So maybe you need to find, if you want to, if you're in the mood of, I need to complain today, you have to make something up.
Yeah, and speaking about Germany, we the last time we talked, you mentioned that you think the bureaucracy isn't like the hardest part for the expat, but what do you think is the hardest part?
Well, the thing, of course, is you come to a new country and back home, everything was settled, right? You know the rules, you have your routines, you know the system, you have your friends, you have your places, you have your network. Everything is set. You kind of lost also your curiosity, right? Because you don't have to really be curious. Everything is set. If maybe you get to know someone new, okay, then you can give in a little curiosity or you find a new place. But it's like you don't have to. And then you suddenly jump into this whole new world. You cannot communicate, you don't know the places, you have no network, you have no community, you have no friends, nothing. You have to build everything from scratch. And you're not used to being curious because you didn't have to before. Now you have to start being curious again. You have to discover places, meet people, find your community, find your routines. Like, you have to do everything by yourself. And this is something that is actually already very energy taking. Like, it takes a lot of energy from you. And on top of that, there is a culture you don't know. There are people who are direct. There are people who don't let you in because there's some, they want to keep your privacy. They don't want to be too, like, right, too direct.
Open, yeah.
So it's just, everything is so different, and that's the hard part. And then you need to do everything by yourself, and on top of that, learn another way of life. And that's, I think, the hardest part.
So you think like finding your community and network is like the reason that many people with the good job and with like the stable lives, they still struggle to feel at home in Germany, or it could be like other reasons.
No, there are different reasons, right? But of course, I just a few days ago, I was asking, I have the Unboxing Germany, and I was asking the question where, what is for you the most important thing? And the answer was like, when you go somewhere new, is it food? What was it as? It was like food and maybe language. And then one thing was people. And almost everyone was people. Like, if you don't like the food, doesn't matter. You can cook your own food. If you don't know the language, well, you somehow will manage. But you will somehow always be alone if you don't have people. So creating a community, a network, and having friends is the most important thing. But how can you make friends when, let's not talk about your expat friends, let's talk about the friends from that country you live in, when they are so cold, when you think they are so cold, when they are not interested in you, when they are not talking about any private things at work. It's like, why are they so distant? Like, when you don't understand, you will always feel like they don't like me. that it's not about you, it's about the culture. And once you understand that, and once you understand, oh, I just need more patience, and I need kind of another, for example, work is not the place where you make friendships, it's it should be somewhere else. And once you know all this, then you put your energy on the right track, and then it will happen. But somehow you need a little guidance there, because it's different. It's not like back home, and it's not like maybe in another country you have lived before. It's just different. And then with these little tricks and secrets, you will get there. Because people, to me and to many other people, the connection, the having someone share, being able to sharing experiences with someone is so important. Yeah.
So it was kind of very surprising that you said that the people are so cold and everything. Do you think it's something that people see from outside, or German are really cold? Or is it like what's the reality?
I mean, you can ask anyone who has lived here longer and who has decoded the country and decoded Germans. They will tell you, you know, this example with the coconuts and with the peaches. Like, for example, there are cultures where the people are peaches. They're very soft from the outside. It's very easy to connect and to talk and to have a friendship. But you will never get deep. And the Germans, they are considered as the coconuts. It's so hard to get in there at the beginning, but once you're in, you're in. So Germans are we are very warm, but it takes time. We want to see the consistency. Are you here now once, or will you be here longer? Um, can we first we need to have some experience together to see if this is, if we are thinking the same way, if we are sharing the same values, to really become friends. But once you discover that, you're friends forever. You're friends for life.
Yeah. So is it like a social rules that needs to be decoded to get to the point?
Yeah. You need some help. Like if you try to do this alone, you will learn it by yourself after years. Or you just take the shortcut, get some of the secrets, and then you're just better prepared for that. And let me tell you, I spoke to some people and they told me, you know, I had this training before I moved to Germany, but knowing the theory and then experience the real life are two different shoes. It's just not the same. I knew people will be direct, but when directness comes towards you, it's like, oh my God. And then you need to talk about it. And then you want to someone to explain to you what happened here. What was that? Ooh, I cannot understand. And once you get the explanation, it's like, well, okay, at least I understand. You don't have to like it. But once you understand, it's easier for you to digest and accept, okay, that's the way it is. It was the same for me in Istanbul. I had my Turkish teacher, Zeynep. Hi to Zeynep if she sees that. She was wonderful because she, first of all, she helped me being able to survive, because then I could communicate in a very simple way, but I could communicate. Like daily life was doable for me. And then after, because I'm German, at first I needed to get to know her better. So once we got to know each other better, I started asking her questions about the culture. Zeynep, this holiday, what's happening in a Turkish home? I want to understand. I want to know. Or something happened today. It was a very weird situation. Could you explain to me? Because I don't know what happened. And then she explained to me. And that helped me so much, because then I understood what maybe I did wrong, kind of in the eyes of a Turkish person. And yeah, it just helped me to understand. I didn't have to like it. Oh, like, oh, that's wonderful. No, it's just I understood, and then I could make my math. I like it or I accept it, and I could go on. But it was not in my head all this time. Like, you know, this question marks. What's going on here? I don't like it here. I don't want to live here. I was there and I wanted to make the best of my time. So this was the perfect the thing to do. Learn about it. Be curious, right? What I just said.
Exactly, exactly. That's true. But on the other hand, what do you think that is there something that Germans misunderstands about expats, or that's only like from the other way?
And that's so important because, I said at the beginning, I'm the bridge, right? And bridge is not a one-way street like the foreigners coming to Germany and has to learn the German culture. There are some people who expect that, but there are also some people who have lived abroad, who have traveled, and who are more open-minded. And first of all, this needs to be clear, right? There's two kind of different Germans. And what is very important is, of course, as a German, you also should have the curiosity to understand about the other culture. So one thing that's very helpful is food. So once you want to make friends with a German, cook your food, offer your food. That would help. But one misunderstanding could be from a German, like you come here, maybe you've lived here for a couple of months, so maybe you have learned all the rules, all those unwritten rules that nobody told you. So, of course, you cannot know. But as Germans, we could assume you know and expect you to know. And that's a big misunderstanding, right? We expect you know, but how can you know when nobody tells you?
Yeah. So, do you think at some point is it possible that expats feel like completely home in Germany, or did you have any experience with your clients that at some point that they reached to this state?
Of course. I mean, let's put it that way. It's not a checklist thing, right? I've lived here for 5 years, and I have found a job, and so that I made all this, so now it's home. It's a feeling, and I felt like home in Istanbul. Not after let's say after 2 years, I said, okay, well, this is home. I really, I know how to navigate life now. I have my circle of friends. I have my little routine. But this was how I defined home, right? So everybody defines this by themselves. And you have to kind of make peace with this new home because it's a new home, right? It can never reach the level of home you have where you grew up and where you have spent the majority of your time. But once you feel confident in navigating life in another country, I think you can say this is your home. Yeah. But it's a very subjective answer. You have to answer yourself.
Exactly. So if someone just come to Germany like today and want to start like decoding Germany, or in your way like unboxing Germany, what's your advice to them?
Be curious, ask questions. I mean, I know sometimes you don't want to be annoying to someone with asking so many questions. So there are options you can take to go to someone to answer your questions, for example. But be curious, because once you walk around with your open eyes and open mind, you can learn so much already. If you are like this and just doing a very narrow tasks and get your things done, but you're not opening your view, it will be hard, it will be tough. But once you just keep or awaken your curiosity, if it has been sleeping for a long time, right, because you didn't have to use it, then it will be definitely much easier. And I mean, also being flexible, right? You being flexible and have attention to positivity. So, what do I mean with that? You don't have to like everything that's happening around you. But when you're flexible, like when you accept it, okay, that's the way it's happening here. I don't like it, but I have to accept it. And then shift to the things you do like. Focus on what you do enjoy. For example, in Germany, we love picking the strawberries and all the fruits. which in some countries is like, no, I would never do that. I let someone do it, right? And here it's something very cultural, and then you take it home and then you make a cake from it, for example. So find the little things that you really enjoy, you really love, and focus on that, and accept what you don't like, but it's you cannot do anything about it. Just take it as it is and done.
Amazing. I know that even before I come to Germany, everyone was saying that Germans are very careful with money. We can say. Where do you think that this mindset coming from?
I mean, we can think back. I mean, we had a very hyperinflation long ago, but this is probably in those genes, that the grandparents gave to our grandparents, gave to our parents, and the parents give to us. So this hyperinflation, we had the war, everything had to be rebuilt. So this is something that is deeply in our genes. Like, be careful, think about the risks. I mean, German, I don't know if there's anything in Germany you cannot insure. There's so many insurances because we want to make sure the things we buy, they are safe. So yeah, I think it's based on a lot of history and things that are in our genes, and you can see it every day, really. With You are laughing, the insurances are a big thing, right? I don't know if there's any other country with so many insurances.
I also don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Is it the same that because it's also with the long-term planning is such a thing within the German culture, which, for example, in my culture, it's not, people don't look into the future that much. It could also be because Germany is very stable that you can look for the future. And for
Yeah.
example, back in my country, it's not possible to look into
Yeah.
the like far future
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
So could it be because of the stability, or it's a cultural thing, and why this is coming from?
I think both, right? First of all, I told you this example from my friend from Lebanon. Like,
Yeah.
we were comparing Germany and Lebanon. It's like, yeah. First of all, it is so stable, so you can actually predict things. It's easy to make a long term planning. And also, this predictability creates trust. And then the trust actually gives confidence to everyone because everybody knows kind of this has the same knowledge, right? And the same experiences and expectations. So yeah, it's like that. It's a historical and cultural thing, I would say.
Amazing. That's really interesting because even though I've been here for so far 3 years, but every day I learn like new things about Germany and people and how they react to specific things, what's important for them. I would love to know about your integration courses because I know that this is something that you're offering, like the difference that it has with the general integration courses, and like how you describe it. I would love to know more about that.
Yes. I mean, those integration courses you're talking about, they are for a specific type of people that are coming to Germany and actually planning to stay in Germany. And this is more about also laws and politic and very deeply, actually, things that you learn in Sozialkunde in school as a kid. What I'm doing is I have a completely different focus because, but myself having been expat in another country, I had to learn the culture and I had to learn the language very fast because I didn't want to. I knew it's gonna be 3 or 4 years, and I knew I don't want to spend 3 years learning something and then I don't have time to apply it. So I knew I had to learn a lot at the beginning, so I have a lot of time to use it. And that means you need survival language and survival culture input. And of course, it takes time, but the more you put at the beginning, the more time at the end you have to enjoy life. So what I do is I really focus on those topics that are hard at the beginning, which I just said, the directness, the having friendships, how to create, how to build friendships, and everything that will come across after a couple of, like, after the honeymoon phase is over, when life really starts and you are starting to suffer, because it's like, I knew it from theory, but now it's really happening to me and I'm shocked that I still cannot digest it. So I am offering, or I'm giving, just all this information. For example, in my Thrive program, where we have 1 month and we talk about all those topics with, in a small group, where everybody can exchange the experiences, where you see, I'm not alone. I'm not experiencing this alone. I'm not an alien. There are other people who are experiencing this the same way, where you can share, where you can get the information, where you can share your experiences, and have, after that, have the confidence to really start your life, because you got all those secret nuggets that were missing. And then you know, okay, I know what I have to accept. I know what I love. I know what I want to focus on. And then you can go and start your life, because, yeah, you get everything you need to finally live and not wonder all the time. Oh, what happened again? Oh, what was that again? Oh, why does it take so long? Why is the neighbor so not even greeting me? Like, so many whys. All the whys will be gone. You will know, and you can just finally start your life. Focus on the I like it.
That's really nice. Amazing. So, Claudia, as the last question, I would also like to know, do you have expat friends?
I do, but I don't have enough, because, in Istanbul, we had the whole world in our circle. And now it's like I have Spain, I have Brazil, and I will have United States very soon, because our friends that we made in Istanbul, they're moving to Frankfurt. They will be very close. And I'm so happy they are coming. But that's not enough, because I really enjoyed that circle we had in Istanbul, with people from all over the world, so many opinions, so many experiences. So it needs to be more. But you need to work on it. I told you, we are just back for 1 year. And before moving to Istanbul, I mean, it was mostly German friends, right? Of course, I always had some friends from other countries, but they were not expats. They were just coming from other countries. But now, coming back from Istanbul, I really set my antennas, like, okay, I want to have friends that are I also want to have friends that are living abroad, coming from another country, having just another view of the world. It's such a nice mix. And it's also important when you move to Germany. Of course, don't focus only on making German friends, because it will take time. You need to have a nice mix of people who know what you're going through, because they had the same. And of course, local friends. You need local friends. They will invite you maybe for a Christmas dinner, or they will take you to an Easter party, or they will, they are the ones who will let you in on the culture, on the country, and they will be the ones you can ask those questions to. But then it's time, right? And so you need the good balance of both.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, the reason that I asked is because this is some myths we can say around people, that they think that why I can't make German friends. Maybe Germans don't like to have like friends with don't like to be friends with expat. That was the reason that I asked the question.
No, 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 no.
But that's really nice. I think that's something that ultimately everyone should looking for to learn about, like decoding Germany, as you mentioned. I really enjoyed our conversation. I think it's going to be very helpful for the expat communities to know about Germany, because the more we know about the experience of other people and how to actually overcome the challenges, the easier we can adapt to the situation and
Yep.
integrate and everything. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, and I'm looking forward for our conversations in future.
Yes, me too. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much.